Hi everyone, Oliver Dugard here with Send Money Digital Wallet. And today I want to talk about a blog I just wrote, which discussed using remittance payment for community development. And a few weeks ago, I started this blog series by saying that remittance payment, which globally is 647 billion, at least more developed countries that go into these developing countries, can be used to offset foreign direct investment or certainly supplement it. That was a few weeks ago. And today I just want to take a little deeper dive, right? Because when you look at the numbers coming out of the US, it's 79 billion went out last year. So that's a lot of money that's being sent out once, a couple of times a month by immigrants, migrants, people like myself, who still maintain a relationship with the country that we were born in. So that's what remittance is. It's just, we're sending money back to the home country for, to help families, to, pay for medical, daily food expense, tuition, etc. And so on this second series of the blog, I just basically proposed the idea that, we could look at this in a more strategic way of utilizing these funds, because it's almost automatic, right? Someone works, they get paid on the 15th or 30th, as an example, and part of that, their paycheck, they will send back home. That's a more classical description. But even if it's not so frequent a schedule, it's still the idea that money is flowing in. So I proposed the idea of saying, okay, what if we look at this in a more, again, strategic way? And I have to preface it also by saying, I understand the situation on the ground. I see it when I travel. And I know in many cases, people are just relying on these funds coming in, and it basically just comes in and it goes. Again, it goes for essential. It's not going to take trips and things like that, but there are some spending that possibly, you could say maybe it could be controlled. And that's what I really want to talk about, this idea that intentional community spending, right? Because right now, the infrastructure in many countries, is set up where the recipient of remittance basically are spenders. They're not producers of goods. They, for the most part, I'm talking in general terms, they're not producers of goods. They're not creating industries. They're not, investing. They're basically consuming. And for my personal example, I see it, again, I've seen this just through observation, right? So I don't sort of have empirical data, but I could say, certainly based on my observation, even my own family members, I could see how fast the money goes, essentially through their hand because of consumption. And so in this blog, I'm saying, can we take a pause? Can we take a step back and say, wow, maybe, there's another way. And so that will entail the diaspora population, those who are here, say, for example, I'm in the U.S., so those who are here in the U.S. who are sending the money back home, working with those who are back home to say, okay, here are monies that are coming in that, yes, will cover the absolute essential, right, that we need. But there's that little bit extra in there, and can we start thinking about consumption delay and put these funds together and create community projects, community jobs, new businesses that benefit the community. For example, the idea that many of these communities, they don't own the shops, the daily markets, many of them, that they consume a vast majority of their daily goods. So many of those shops are established by recent immigrants into the country. And not to say that's bad, it was certainly needed and they provide essential service. But what I'm trying to say is to look at this in a way that, can the community start thinking of creating their own services of where they spend their money, in particular a business that's going to reinvest in the community, hire from the community, and so you have a circulation of currency within the community before it leaves the community and even leaves the country, right? And so I use the term also the multiplier effect to go along with this intentional community spending. So this multiplier effect talks about the idea that, well, it's an economic term that I'm using it here, but if we spend $1 within the community with someone who's going to hire from the community, buy from the community, that dollar circulates within the community several times, right? And so that's the multiplier effect. We all benefit. There's a win-win there. Whereas if it's spent in a way where it leaves the community as monetary flight, then the community benefits less. Obviously, they receive goods or service in exchange for those funds, but there's no reinvestment. There's no circulation. It just leaves. And that's what we've seen a lot now. Certainly, my opinion is that it just leaves the community. And so in the case of Belize, I want to say 142 million was sent to Belize in 2022. It's a small country, 400,000, but that's still significant, right? And so imagine that 142 million coming in, and essentially it's like going right back out, or just leaving the community that it came in, right? Because, again, the recipient community typically is not a creator, provider of goods and services, and hence they're just primarily consuming. And that's the narrative that I would like to give Paul Stanley's change, right? To say, hey, maybe we need to think about this and say, who is someone that can take on some of those local roles, and the community that can work with the diaspora, those who are foreign, who are sending the money back, to work together and start coming up with ideas to create, to use services, for local needs, for export. And it doesn't take much, but it does requires a starting point. And that's what I'm trying to do. Can we create a discussion where, others will jump in? And I certainly encourage you to share this video. Let me know your feedback, that we can come together and start to change the direction from just purely consumption to one where we are investing in our community. We are hiring our youths. We are creating jobs. We're creating opportunity. We investing in our neighbors, right? Because we know our neighbors, they shop at our store. So we have less of a concern of investing in maybe a new venture or something, again, to strengthen the community. And that's where I'm going at with this intentional community spending. It's about taking charge. It's about saying that we don't have to wait all the time for foreign direct investment. That we could start doing some projects ourselves and get the economy moving forward. And it's not unique to Belize. We see this globally. But again, I'm talking specifically, I'm using Belize as an example because that's the one where I have certainly firsthand experience and I see it on my trips there. So that's it. Just wanted to, again, I'll use this as an attachment to the actual written article. But let me know your thoughts and maybe ideas. And again, this idea is to get some discussion going. It's a spark. That's how I look at Send Money. It is really, it satisfied the need for cross-border payment. But at the end of the day, it's a spark because there's so much more that's going to come from it, more than just the actual movement of money from point A to B. It's a spark for innovation. It's a spark for entrepreneurship. It's a spark for community investment, right? And partnership. So that's who we are. And so this article talks about, again, some ideas. And it's not to beat down on anyone who certainly is in a very difficult financial situation, maybe even lacking some of the education or experience to create a venture. But there's someone in the community who knows how. And that's what I mean. We can't do this alone. I can't do it alone. And most of us out there cannot do it alone. So if we come together and say, wow, okay, I could do this part. And the other person comes in, I think we are at that point where we have to. Because if not, we become just bystanders. We're just looking. We're just almost like irrelevant, quite frankly. We're becoming irrelevant other than the fact that a couple times a month, money arrives into the country with our name on it. And within 24 hours, it's gone. It's gone. Trust me, folks. I mean, I've seen this thing down to minutes. And when you talk to other people around, I mean, you get the same sense that, you know, certainly within 24 hours, that money comes in, it's gone. Yeah. So anyhow, don't want to be up at that point, but just want to at least start a discussion. Hopefully we could make some movements here and just, you know, go in a different direction. You know, take charge, be in charge of our own destiny, our own development. 142 million is a lot. It's a lot for Belize. And their countries, you know, Jamaica, to our neighbors, you know, I believe their numbers in the 3 billion range. Haiti, 3 billion, you know. So there's a lot of funds coming into the Caribbean and Latin America. There's quite, you know, all our neighbors, right? Like we don't necessarily have to wait for the UN, in America Development Fund, you know, IMF, et cetera, et cetera. You know, we could do things our own and really get going and make a difference. And then maybe those foreign partners become, you know, just part of the you know, the stack, right? They become a partner, but not a major player. We're not waiting for them before we even build a road or do something, right? Build a factory. We are saying, okay, you know what, maybe we need that last piece to complete the whole capital raise profile. And that's a whole different type of discussion you're having there, as opposed to almost like cup in hand, right? And we need to get away from that. So, yeah, that's it. Until next time, be safe out there, enjoy life. Send Money Digital Wallet is here for you guys. And, you know, I'm still out here. I'm raising capital. I'm putting the pieces together. And, you know, we hope to go live soon. So thanks for checking out this video. And, I mean, share it. And we'll pass it along. I really appreciate that. And let me know your feedback. Until next time. Bye-bye.